Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Lewis Williams, like, this is quite an interesting interview because I've known you since, like, I think you was maybe 17 or 18. That sounds really dodgy when I say that, but when you was an amateur at the Team GB in Sheffield, we used to like bump into each other. We've spoken on Instagram for like 6 years,
Yeah.
and it's mad. You're finally here. You're finally back to fight as a pro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a small world in boxing, isn't it? But yeah, me reaching out to yourself back in the day and everything, with it, you having a great page and that, yeah, it's weird how it circles back, isn't it?
I was looking through the messages today, and I think like 6 years ago we was messaging each other just because Boxing King Media was just an Instagram page, then
Yeah.
nothing else. And obviously in that time we've evolved into everything now. So it's mad to see that you've obviously evolved. You've been in Team GB so long. Do you feel like you've been there for too long? Because we've seen a lot of people say about Fraser Clark recently, oh, he was an amateur for too long. What do you think?
It's very strange because, and I feel fortunate, all my plans have gone right, and I was just talking about this. I ticked off what me and Edwin had planned off, and everything went right. Just a little hiccup towards the end of the start of this year, but but I'm still back on track, and I'm still turning pro this year. I've had the right time on Team GB. I've gained loads of experience. I've used the team for my benefit, and then I've copied the team and built up at home the same thing that I used there. That they're such a smart team, and everything that they invested into. Why not bring that home? So I've done that, and I've learned so much there, and travelling about and being in all these tournaments in mad countries. You just take that all and take that into the pro game, And now this is a new world, isn't it? So I'm now going to learn again what this is all about. And first press conference. This was new for me to step into.
The mad thing is, you speak so well for somebody who's just like had cameras chucked at him right now, as he starting off this pro journey. Like, people that may not know, like, just tell them what weight you're going to be fighting at, because you're massive, and I've seen you filled out over the years, because you used to be like a beanpole, and now you look stocky.
Yeah, I was boxing as heavy as an amateur, and now stepped up to the super heavy and a professional heavyweight. But yeah, it was hard to keep the weight down. For a while it was all good and it was nice and easy, and then you just keep growing, you keep fueling, and you keep building, don't you? So but yeah, now I've stepped up, the weights just chucked on, and I feel a lot better for it, and yeah, now I can just focus on the fight instead of weight, and that's a bit of a privilege to have, isn't it? And yet be the right structure for heavyweight.
I told you about 6'5", 6'6"?
6'6", yeah.
And weight, what kind, are you going to be like a 16, 17 stone heavyweight?
Yeah, I mean, what my plan is let the weight do its thing naturally. Don't want to chuck the weight on hugely, and next minute, I'm sluggish. I want to take that sharpness up with me. So, and that's exactly what I've done, and that's what we'll see come the fight.
Which heavyweights from this current crop guys at the top do you kind of look up to?
Of course, Joshua, sparring with Joshua, and seeing him in camp and everything, you've got to look up to him, haven't you? He's done great things for the sport, and I think a lot of people may talk bad, just from a loss and everything. It's boxing, and back in the day, that's normal. I think it's only because of Mayweather's undefeated record that everybody believes you got to have this O, or that O goes, they're done. I think that's completely wrong. Yeah, I'd say Joshua's one that I've been able to see inside the camp and look up to. Also, think Usyk's been great. Yeah, what an athlete,
I'm guessing you would have probably sparred Dubois in your amateur days as well, did you, or did you miss each other?
No, I didn't spot. I think he just left the team before I got up there. I'm not sure how big a gap that was, but yeah, it was a good few heavyweights that were sparred, and of course internationally as well when they've come about, because I can go up the weights and down the weights, So again, that's all that experience they can take on, and you take it into the professional game,
And then with regards to signing with Frank Warren, did you speak to all the promoters, or was Frank Warren always on your mind?
I always liked Frank Warren because the way they can build a fighter, and because I've got the youth on my side, why not build your career correctly? You don't need to be rushing into everything. You've got to learn this game, because you can fall into the pitfalls quite easily, can't you? and I was talking to Frank Warren beforehand, and so yeah, I kept that loyalty there, and carried on talking, and we got the deal done.
As a 25-year-old man, I kind of still see you as that teenager that I was speaking to years ago. He is like a young guy. Are you prepared for the comments, the feedback, whether it's positive or negative? Because I think it's fair to say this: heavyweights get judged the most in boxing, than any weight category. So if say your performance goes the distance on Saturday, they're going to be saying, "Oh, you can't punch. He's got no power." If you knock him out in a round, they'll say your opponent was a bum. It's madness. So are you kind of prepared for all that?
Yeah, it's yeah, I'd say you're right there. Again, everybody's looking at the heavyweights, and I think it's always been that way, isn't it? But yeah, you better adapt, or if you don't, it's going to be a bit of suffering, isn't it? You know, so yeah, I'm prepared to adapt and prepared to take that all on. You know, and you hear the stories of people not being able to take it all on, and that's why you got to have a little team around you, a small team that you trust, and take their comments in that and believe them, you know, and everybody else, it's just noise, you know. So, but I've got to actually practice that. So, like me saying that, I've got to actually live that.
And your plan, you're going in against a guy that's, he's had some really good results recently on his side. It's not the kind of guy you'd expect to go in on debut against. So, does that mean that you're not going to be messing about? It's going to be like a quick kind of route to English level, British level.
Not necessarily, no. But I just think having a good quality opponent can bring the better out of me, you know. So yeah, it doesn't mean anything, but I think yeah, definitely coming from the tops of the amateurs doesn't mean you just got to shoot right down to the bottom of the professional game, right?
And, your style, for the people that don't know what to expect, if you compare your style to any of the heavyweights that we're aware of, who can they expect?
Other heavyweights. No, I couldn't compare myself to any other really. I like to try and take stuff away from Ali, but as great as he is, I can't compare myself to him. You know, I wanted to take stuff from him, but he's the greatest, isn't he? So I just loved his feet, and that's what I'd like to take away from when I was young. That was the first boxer I was looking at, thinking, bloody hell, you know what, I want to be like him. But yeah, I'm my own guy, so you just have to watch and take it in for yourself.
Forward to it, man. And the last thing I want to ask you, you mentioned earlier in the interview that you've traveled all around the world, you've experienced loads of cultures, different people. Just share a story with us, like something about a different country you've been to, maybe picked up or learned something that you thought, shit, what an experience.
Probably for going and training with some other countries, just the way they train.
The worst experience. What was the worst experience you had, whether it's like bad beds or bugs in beds or whatever?
A good one is probably like Kazakhstan, watching them train. 1 minute they're doing like they're walking on their hands as a I'm not sure if it was a warm up or it was like their sort of gym time. They're walking on their hands. So then I started talking to my physio. Am I right to do that? They're like, no, you get an injury, don't be doing that. So yeah, it's just quite baffling to see that. Wow, this is how they're training. So it's just eye opening. And then some bad stories. We got lots of bad stories from the team, really, of where we get put. But again, all those bad ones, they're great memories. And also, yeah, what can you throw at me here? You know, in Britain, ain't going to be that bad compared, is it? You know, like, I know, getting like bed bugs in Belarus or something, itching on the plane on the way back. Yeah, so
Belarus just sounds.
So we've had loads of mad stories and experiences.
Well, I'm going to pull some of these out for you as your journey. I'm sure we'll have loads of time to speak, so I'll pluck out some stories for me as time goes on. So yeah, Lewis, it's a bit of a weird experience, this interviewing you after all these years, but yeah, it's actually the first time I've interviewed you as well. So yeah, I wish you all the best on your journey, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers. Yeah, of course, Sam. Thank you.